FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
A very good afternoon to you with Thursday, January 26th morning. That should be main newscast. My name is Joshua Van Slegman. Thank you for joining us. Let's get to the news in the details. Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Kaieteur Radio, on Monday announced that the evaluation of bids received for its most recent gas-rich blocks auction will be disclosed in 3 months' time. More importantly, he noted that the Twin Island will be pursuing improved fiscal terms during the negotiation process. Trinidad, with over 100 years of oil production expertise, is among other things well known for its stance on just fiscal terms for its people. At the opening of the nation's 3-day energy conference hosted at the Hyatt Regency in Port of Spain on Monday, Rowley announced that the government intends to maintain momentum of upstream exploration through improvised fiscal incentives and the availability of acreage both on land and offshore. According to him, they will continue the dialogue with upstream companies on incentives required to stimulate activity for the exploration of upstream resources. During the Prime Minister's address to the participants at the 2022 Energy Conference, Rowley had said that Trinidad and Tobago will be pursuing an aggressive bid round program for the exploration of its hydrocarbon resources. This program was initiated with a deep water bid round in which 4 bids were received by a consortium of BP and Shell. Those bids are currently the subject of negotiations between the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries and the consortium. We tell you now that warning that the government's secretive nature in running the oil industry places Guyanese in great danger, Opposition Member of Parliament Sharwin Holder has called on citizens to be more vigilant in helping to police the sector, as well as the ambitious $2 billion US gas-to-energy project the administration has embarked on. Holder made the point during the contributions to the ongoing budget debate on Tuesday. Questions continue to swirl about the financial feasibility of the project, which government has largely ignored. There has been no press conference to address several outstanding issues about the project, even as the Irfan Ali administration has refused to conduct a feasibility study to determine the economics of the venture. The government said the venture will lower electricity costs by 50%. However, independent analysis have said that this may not be possible due to the increased price tag of the project. The Wales gas-to-energy project entails 3 components, inclusive of the pipeline, a natural gas liquids facility to treat and separate the gas, and a power plant to generate 300 megawatts of electricity. Exxon's pipeline so far is expected to cost $1.3 billion US dollars, while the other 2 aspects are now pegged at $759 million US dollars. This is your main newscast on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. We will return with more news after the break. Stay with us.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Etteringban, we got you covered. Digicel, better together.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Murder suspect, 65-year-old Deanna Shaw, called Boise, who was wanted in relation to the murder of his former partner, was arrested on Wednesday during a pre-dawn operation carried out by members of the Guyana Police Force. Shaw of Hope Estate, East Coast, Demerara, and Crabwood Creek, currently in Berbice, that is, was captured at a abandoned house at Region 4 one day after the police issued a wanted bulletin for him for the murder of Nazaleen Mohammed. We tell you now that a woman and her son were intrusive beaten, stabbed, and robbed by a lone bandit just as they were about to enter the Valmiki Hindi School's premises located at Lusignan on the east coast of Demerara. The woman has been identified as the school's canteen lady, and this has been the third time she has been attacked and robbed by bandits. Previous attacks were at her home, which is located just a few houses away from the school. Those attacks were not so severe, but the third and most recent one was brutal and could have ended her life. According to information, the canteen lady and her son were attacked around 5:30 on Tuesday. In other news, 2 cops and Mason on drugs ammo charges. Sheldon Benjamin, a 32-year-old Mason of Vigilance East Coast Demerara, along with 2 police constables, 29-year-old Albert Besford and 22-year-old Julius Cambridge, was on Wednesday charged jointly for marijuana and ammunition possession. The charges are possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking and the possession of ammunition without license. They appeared at the Cove and John Magistrates Court on Wednesday before Magistrate Fabio Azor, where the charges were read to them. They all pleaded not guilty to the charges and were remanded to prison until February 28, 2023. Kaieteur had initially reported that the 2 members of the Guyana Police Force were arrested at a roadblock after a quantity of marijuana and ammunition were disclosed in their motor car. Police had reported that around 2:30 on January 16th, a party of ranks from Regional Division 4C were conducting a roadblock on the Cove and John Public Road, East Coast, Demerara, when they stopped a Silver Gear Premier motor car, which the suspects were in. A 74-year-old man was killed Wednesday morning in an accident at Cotton Tree Village Public Road, West Coast, Demerara. Dead is pedal cyclist William Johnson of Railway Line Rosignol Village, West Bank, Berbice. In a press release, police said the accident occurred at about 10:30. It involved minibus BRR 1805, driven by a 64-year-old of Claremont Village, West Coast, Demerara, and the now deceased 74-year-old man. A breathalyzer test was conducted on the driver and it showed that no trace of alcohol. The driver remains in custody as further investigations are ongoing. We tell you now that a crew of 6 men is looking for their employers who allegedly disappeared and left them stranded on board a Surinamese vessel anchored in the Essequibo River. Members of the crew have not been paid by their employers and have reportedly been stranded for more than 22 days without any cash and food on board the vessel. Kaieteur Radio was told that it is a Surinamese-owned towboat called the Pearl of the Atlantic. It is anchored in the Essequibo River, a far distance away from the Parika Stalin. The stranded crew on board is made of Guyanese, Surinamese, and Venezuelan men. After their food supplies ran out, they turned to the Maritime Administration for help. An official of MARAD has since confirmed that the agency's crew welfare department met the men and has taken some food supplies for them. Kaieteur was able to source a number of one of the employer and reached out to him. He explained that he's not really in charge of the vessel and provided this newscast with another contact for another man. He claimed he claimed is the one totally responsible for the now abandoned tugs. Operations but calls to the number went unanswered. Investigations are ongoing. Stay with us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. We will return shortly with your page 7 of the Kaieteur News. Today's blunt is titled, Another Oil Project Pushed for Approval. The 5th oil project is still pending, yet Exxon already moving for approval of the 6th one. The 5th will happen and so will the 6th project. Exxon dictates to this country, this can't be a national sovereignty. Guyanese has to be a ghetto. Exxon's toy and football to kick about. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast for today, Thursday, January 26th, 2023. For these stories and much more, follow us on Facebook at Kaieteur Radio and Instagram, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at Kaieteur Radio. I'm Joshua Van Slykeman. Have a great remainder to your Thursday.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch